Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are here talking about enhancing our wellness, and I know this woman who is next up is here to really help you on that personal journey. Her name is Viktoriia Gruzdieva, and she's the owner of Mindful Bamboo from Harrison, New Jersey. Please welcome back our friend Viktoriia. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for having me today. And yeah, it's been great. This is a busy week, but I thought that it's the best reason to actually stop for a moment and remind ourselves what do we have to be grateful for and to remember to enjoy it all.
Well, that's beautifully said. We really should, right? To keep in a positive mindset. You offer coaching services, tarot card readings. You're also an intuitive. There's a lot to you. Let me just point out the website, mindfulbamboo.com. Shaping a happy lifestyle is what she's all about today. And yeah, let's get started. You want to dive down that path of gratitude, and let's begin.
Yes. So, just a few words of background where it's all coming from, so we can probably trace the history of people having all kinds of rituals of giving thanks and putting it front and center in their life from the ancient times. A lot of it was connected with religion, and a lot of things were like partly connected with actually being grateful for something, but partly also because of fear of not having things balanced at the line, which is a little tricky when it comes to gratitude. So I'll speak about that a little bit later. But generally speaking, there is, people have been spending, or at least they used to spend a lot of time on worship, on giving things, and I would say that not so much on the individual level, but at least on the level of family, community, country, and the world, and even the divine powers, the universe, and that's actually connected with our natural need to for this kind of energy exchange. And if we go into a more scientific approach, then quantum physics is telling us about energy exchange, and that really, if you go to universal laws, it's called the law of reciprocity, or basically, you attract what you put out, really. And I think that was part of the experience that people have noticed and have had since ancient times. And sometimes, of course, we cannot directly impact the situation, but there is some sort of magic there when you are, noticing the details, or you're seeing it in a more positive light, even if it's something challenging. It immediately turns things around, and you kind of get the benefit of it rather than like an opportunity or, some sort of reward, even rather than, an obstacle.
Yeah.
I used to have a colleague at the workplace who used to say that, when we speak, and in the corporate world, you have also a lot of tools of dealing with obstacles, risks, and challenges. And he liked to say that, this is not really an obstacle, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
To build something on it. And yeah, I think that speaks to our kind of mindset and perception, and the whole idea of how just by shifting your mindset and the way you perceive what's happening in your life, we can change our life.
So it's like manifestation, right? If you build it, it'll come. If you think it, it'll come. It's these positive thoughts and positive way of thinking that really can help us. It's amazing. You talk about energy, frequency, vibration, and exchange, worship, and gifts as well, right? So the background to giving thanks from science, religion, and mythology. Interesting. So do you want to talk more about the importance of the body and the mind and the quality of appreciation energy too?
Yes. So I think it's more straightforward of how it impacts our mindset and perception of how things are, because we are kind of guided and driven in our nervous system by our emotions. If you remember the famous cartoon about, it's called Inside Out, I think,
Yes.
where they have this little characters that represent different emotions of a person, and they actually even give you perspective of how it works for different people, which is a lot of fun. But basically, you can see how much these guys are in charge and how much they can change the way that even the timeline and the destiny of a person is built, right? The memories, are they perceived as sad or happy or angry?
Yeah.
It changes it all. And, you know, so we're kind of, more or less, we have that knowledge that our emotional health is important. But of course, as with anything, it connects to our physical body as well. And I mean, I know it from my experience, and now that I'm pursuing biomechanics, it's even more visible and like smaller, tinier details of how, you know, how the positive attitude to our body almost has like consciousness of its own. It's very important to be in this grateful energy and support our body with its journey, you know, appreciate what it gives us, and allow for it to kind of blossom and be more and do more and, you know, be beautiful. Acknowledge that. That's another part of manifestation and that universal law, that sometimes it's one thing about noticing what's already there, which is great. It's even trickier to be appreciative of something that you are manifesting in the future. And there is also, like, because it's also connected to energy, you're almost like supposed to, even if you're not where you're supposed to be, like in my example, say in the dancing journey, right? So maybe I cannot do all the different figures in Latin dancing that I'd like to be able to, but I still need to kind of give appreciation to my body and be thankful and for the things that are to come, that are still not there, but at least I understand it's a potential, it's an opportunity, and I'm treating it not even as a future tense, but it's something that is already in the present. And it's very important because our body then gets that extra confidence that, you know, it's like a person really, that it's self-esteem that's important, right? That you're not gonna fail, or it's not gonna be as bad, because it all builds up, the negativity builds up in our body as well. So it's very important to kind of allow for it to be free and experiment and be, you know, the best version of itself that it can be, really.
So the universal law of attraction, right? That really can work in anyone's favor, right? What are some of the types of things that you can manifest and use? What are some of your clients work on? And if you don't mind sharing some of, you know, the things that they can learn to attract.
Yes. So the biggest part is, of course, focusing on the on kind of what, like what I said, what you have and what you're willing to have or attract or be, rather than what you don't have or you don't want and you don't want to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are taught, like, even in a wider you know, sense of knowledge, when we talk to our children, we know that we're not supposed really to be saying not or no with something, because kids are only going to hear the rest of it. Don't do something and they will hear do something. And actually nature, that's another big concept more from the philosophy. Nature doesn't know the word no. It knows like everything else that has meaning to it. It doesn't understand no, because then you speak something to existence. Mm-hmm. And basically, if you're focusing on what you don't have and something that, and unfortunately, that's how our society is built. So I see a lot of people, you know, we live in a very competitive society, and we compare ourselves to others a lot. It's kind of all supported and encouraged from all the media and all kinds of sources, even our parents who compare us to, you know, other people, you know, look at her, look, you know, how great they are. All of it kind of little by little, it builds up that judgmental mindset where we are judging ourselves, we're judging other people. None of it is healthy, of course, but as a result, you know, a lot of comparison actually happens not in our favor.
True.
And or even if we find, you know, if we are happy with one situation, there will be another one shortly after where we're going to say no, but you know, that person really has it, or that person has really achieved a lot and I haven't, but you know, I've put in it just as much energy, effort, whatever, just as talented. So as soon as we start thinking that way, of course, we're blocking that flow of energy for ourselves. And that's what I see with a lot of people who are trying to find success in basically any area of their life. Because, generally speaking, the universe is infinitely abundant. There is enough of everything for everyone. So it's just how we kind of work with this flow of energy and how we attract the best outcome, the most positive one. And one last thing I'm going to say here is that it's also important to make an effort. So speaking about it, thinking is like the beginning of the journey. Yeah. And of course, manifestation is also about showing the universe that you're serious about your intention, right? That's why intention is different from like a wishful thinking, that you're actually taking some steps towards what you want to attract. And then the universe meets you halfway, right? That's when it catches you and it helps you. And you don't feel like you have to do it all by yourself, or like you are, going upstream in this journey.
Got it. Well, it's beautiful to have you here. And just for those tuning in now, mindfulbamboo.com, if you're interested in any of our services. And I know you also want to go over some of the tools and techniques on really building these appreciation habits as well.
Yes. So, I obviously, like a lot of things I do, and pretty much any practice that I follow has something to do with gratitude and with manifesting your best reality into your life. They are all very closely connected. And as usual, depending on what people are more comfortable with, or what kind of goals they have, we can use different tools. I even have, crystals, and I do work with crystals as well that kind of help amplify energy. And there are crystals that help you with that appreciation and gratitude energy. It is connected to some extent to the heart center and heart chakra of like, the energy of, your feelings and emotions, how that manifests. But even on its own, so this is a piece of amethyst. I have another one that's like a necklace here. So amethyst is really great at kind of getting you into that mindset where it's not artificial, which is key, right? That you're not just saying it because it's an exercise.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part, because how do you actually get to that place? If I'm a dancer and I see a lot of, champions around me, how am I going to stop judging myself against those people and start appreciating and truly believing, that I'm doing great and I'm my best self, right? That's where the trick is. But the crystals on their own, of course, don't do the job, but they do help on the way. If you're already making an effort, if you're trying to build new habits, it's definitely an amplifier. There is tarot, of course, that's helping see more of a specific patterns. And I've got some cards with me here. And actually, I probably won't show all of them because I started choosing the ones I want to show, and got out of control.
Yes.
But so the main card of manifestation is, of course, the Magician. And that shows, this is a major arcana, and that shows how this person is kind of using different elements at hand to attract what they want into their life. Like any card, it has positive and negative aspect to it. So it can always like go wrong. You can have too much of it. You can go to extremes, right? So it's always about balance. But we also have there are a few major arcanas that speak about that energy exchange, where you get some major arcanas are basically about how the universe is, helping you or impacting your journey so that you can have more freedom there. The minor arcana are more about how you can change the story. And there is one card that nobody usually likes, but I like it for this for this specific purpose, just Five of Pentacles. So I was talking about appreciation as emotion and as love, as kind of like connection with those emotions, which in tarot is actually cups, or in the classical cards it will be hearts. So that's definitely a big part of it, that energy. Another big energy, and people don't usually see it that way, is the actual kind of physical resources, finances, all kinds of 3D things. And that's represented by pentacles in tarot. So this card, Five of Pentacles, it's actually traditionally talking about the lack mentality, something that you don't have. So these guys are kind of like feeling left out, feeling like you get like the short end of the stick and things like that. It's actually interesting that in different decks they build a different story around it, but the energy remains the same, right? It's the energy of lack. And the biggest technique, the biggest tool is to kind of turn this around so it turns into something that you can build on, right? That it needs to be a positive foundation. You cannot build on something that you don't have. And, you're only going to have more of that lack. That's what they say in tarot language, right? You're kind of adding more lack to it. So you don't think you have enough money to buy a new house. Guess what? You're going to see even more financial struggles. That kind of mentality perpetuates as well. And of course, there are all kinds of coaching tools, and I think to kind of help people uncover their potential and start shifting that mindset. My favorite one is connected with journaling. So, and it can have different variations to it. Some people hate journals. You can have, I don't know, an image of a tree and you can stick, sticky notes on it. Some people talk about gratitude jars. So you can write something you're grateful for and put it in a jar. And, maybe at the end of the year, you can get those things out and remember how wonderful your year has been. If you remember, there is an example in the Legally Blonde movie.
Oh, I remember that movie.
Yeah. So the snap cup is also, that's the idea, right? So, and it's actually a great tool at the workplace or wherever you have like a team of people working together where, and a lot of times we still forget about it, even today, to show appreciation at the workplace, to show how great people are, even with little things. And if you remember, so they put like notes with what they appreciate about their coworkers and put it in the cup and then they would read it out. Right, so all kinds of variations, but the key idea behind it is journaling, and it's a more personal experience, but it's important to build it as a habit, to do it consistently, even if it's like 2 or 3 minutes a day, but be very specific. So not like, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my family. That becomes too generic and it's harder to shift the mindset around it. But if you're grateful that, I don't know, your mom called you today and reminded you, how kind you are, or, how much she loved, I don't know, making cookies with you when you were a child. That's something specific. That's something that will ground and will, keep that energy in. Or, you're grateful for good weather. Maybe you're grateful that because of the sunshine that you see outside, you were able to have a great
things. Walk. Sometimes it's about those little things and appreciating it, and like looking at your backdrop there. It's like nature, right? Seeing the trees, feeling the earth. There's something about putting your feet outside on the ground and just nature itself, the smell of the outdoors, little things like that really just make you just thankful to be alive and to experience. Spring is here in the air. You're not too far from me. You're in New Jersey, right?
Yes.
So, right, the weather's getting nicer for us, and it just inspires me, I think, and hopefully inspires people to start living a better life. But some people don't know how to. That's why they need people like you. But we do all have to be appreciative for sure. Viktoriia, what other services do you want to share with us and our listeners today?
So like I said, there are different kind of rituals that you can do. It's important to also remember when you do them, or what helps you get into the right mindset. So of course, if for some reason you are you're not feeling like you're not having a great day, and you understand you're legitimately upset about something or angry, it's going to be hard to kind of shift like that. And like I said, be authentic with that energy. So of course, step number one is come back to balance and grounding. And we've spoken about it before, but even simple things like, grounding in the now, noticing what's going on around you, coming back to your 6 senses, dropping your tongue in the mouth and like relaxing it. It will all help kind of come back to a more objective view on the situation. And then when you come back to it, and maybe you want to start with something else, being grateful for other things that are easier, and then get to this. And of course, this is a small example, but if we're talking about the bigger examples, of course, we'll have different kinds of traumatic experiences that it's very hard to be thankful for and see them as opportunities. And to me, I think it took the longest with some of those. It took years to forgive and to release that negativity and be grateful for those experiences as well. From religious standpoint, it's sometimes hard to say, but I think at least in Christianity, people are more acceptful that even the bad experiences are something that were sent to us as blessings, because those are some lessons that we're supposed to learn. It's hard sometimes, yes. So it takes longer. You need to go more through like a healing experience first before you can turn it around. But it's really important to do so. So no matter how big or how painful it was, it's just as important to turn those things around and see them as like kind of live through the emotions, through the feelings, and then either forgive if other people are involved or forgive yourself. That's actually another great, I have some exercises for that. That's another big point of, forgiving yourself for mistakes. Otherwise, it's like the opposite energy of what you want to have with attracting something good into your life, right? The more you're going to focus on your mistakes, the more of that you're going to bring. I would say that to be appreciative of yourself, but also forgiving yourself and kind of having that freedom of sometimes making mistakes, because we're all human, is another important part. And I also have some coaching tools for that, but those are like kind of bigger goals. That's why when somebody contacts me, I usually try to understand how deep and how far the person is willing to go, is ready to go at the moment. And that will kind of inform of what kind of tools we're going to be using. But even with the big things, you need to start with something little, take baby steps, and it will count.
Oh, baby steps it is, right? So mindfulbamboo.com, that's the website. We still have 2 minutes left in the show. Viktoriia, in closing today, tell us other ways we can reach out to you, and maybe about some of the programs you do offer.
So the most convenient way to contact me, the quickest way, is through my email address, so info.mindful.bamboo@gmail.com. I do have a YouTube channel, which is called the same way, Mindful Bamboo. So you can see some information there. I do some tarot readings from time to time, different zodiac signs. I also do record videos on mindfulness from time to time. And I do have a website, so there's a contact form there. And there is more info on different areas. So some more food for thought if you're looking for some more ideas. I'm trying to be specific there, so it's not just philosophical kind of thoughts, but it's something that you can use, and you can be. That's what I like for myself as well. I mostly appreciate things that do have some practical implementation. So hopefully, you can leave a comment there, ask a question, or you can use the contact us form. And of course, you can give me a call on my number, 646-8844-209.
Perfect. Well, Viktoriia, thank you for being here, for joining us as always, and looking forward to the next time we get to meet again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. We appreciate it, guys. And start manifesting. Start. The little baby steps can really go a long way and help you get what you need in life, what you want in life, and keep positive. Stay healthy, everyone.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.